You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton, here, hanging with you guys today. Welcome to the jungle. Well, we're actually recording this podcast real time and in person. We got none other than the GOAT, Kory Ballard with Perficut and Ballard Products joining us. What's going on, brother?
Not much, man. Happy to be here. Sun's out finally.
I know, right? Well, yeah, actually, I was flying in this morning, and it almost didn't make it.
Yeah, that would have been kind of disastrous. We get one time a year.
I know, right? What was going on with the weather this morning? The crazy fog?
It was fog, man.
They said on the airline over the comm or whatever that they had 1/16 of a mile visibility. I don't know what that means, but apparently if you're landing a plane at 400 miles an hour,
you need more than that.
You probably need a little bit more than that. So the intercom, the pilot was like, "Yeah, we might be headed to Minneapolis, Minnesota." And I'm like, "I don't know anybody over in Minneapolis." And I was like, dude, if that's the case, I'm not coming back out here till June, And so today, actually, we're hanging at Ballard Products, and we're just doing a What's New 2022 with Ballard Products, seeing the growth of the warehouse. We did like a shop tour, if you will, and now we're podcasting and just, man, it's so good to catch up with you. Last time I think was LAL, right?
Yeah, I think the last time it was LAL and then Expo.
Yeah.
And then you were here last, I think, April. I mean, COVID just threw like my last 2 years of my life totally off.
Dude, totally. Well, I was trying to get out here and they kept canceling the flights, remember?
Yeah.
I was supposed to come out here in like April, then the flight got canceled, and I was supposed to come out here May, got canceled, then I came out here in June and I spent the night. And I remember that next morning, I was at the hotel across the street. I remember this like yesterday. This has never happened before. At 5:55 in the morning, I wake up. My flight's at like 6:30 or 7 o'clock. But I literally went from my hotel at 5:55 in the morning, woke up. I was in the airport and on my airplane seat at 6:05. I'm not even kidding, bro. Like I walked, I took the little shuttle across,
right,
made it through the airport, TSA, and on the airplane in like, 11 minutes.
That's the only nice about, well, not the only nice about Des Moines, but it is easy to fly out here. People are like, you got to get to the airport 2.5 hours early. I'm like, not Des Moines.
Not Des Moines.
Like 30 minutes.
Is that right? But also with the COVID, there was like, 4 other people on the whole flight.
Right.
So I think Caleb Allman always jokes that's the closest he's going to get to flying private anytime soon. So I was joking with him. I'm like, dude, I feel you there. When you get rose to yourself on the airplane, that's kind of nice, But one day we'll get on the next level. But everything being said, I'm actually kind of wrapping up here, hanging out with Kory, Kaz, the rest of the team here at Ballard Products. Dude, it's been a whirlwind, like you said, with COVID the last 2 years, but also for just you personally, like business-wise, things are growing like gangbusters. People like look at some other people on Instagram, or maybe you guys look up to other people and you're like, how did they get so much done? And then that person's like, I don't know, man, I just work a lot. And then people sometimes accuse me of working too much. And then I look at other guys like yourself and I'm like, I don't know how you get done what you get done, right? Because it's like there's always a bigger fish. Or there's always some other guy that seems, at least on the exterior, like killing it. The last 24, 36 months for you have been wild with Perficut, actually selling that business off with, hopefully we'll get into that a little bit, and then just explosive growth with Ballard. So what's your life been like the last 2 years?
It's been crazy. We work a lot. You and I were talking before, just when I picked you up from the airport, I've been trying to balance things a lot better the last 3 months just because it's just not sustainable. My wife and I were working really 80 hours a week.
Right.
And I'm built like that. I like chaos. I like the excitement. I like seeing orders come in. And it really took a toll on her and our marriage, just being totally transparent. And
sure.
And so we've just continued to try to put really great people around here. I mentioned in the tour we just did, we got one bay in here in 2019. We hired our first employee in July. And now we have, I believe, 11, including my wife and I, at the Ballard team. So when people send us these messages about, hey, you guys are just trying to make money and blah, 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 I'm like, we have a legitimate business. We have forklifts and warehouse and staffing and 401k and healthcare, and like we have a legitimate business here. And so, we have to be profitable, and I want to provide great jobs for people, and I want to have a business that's sustainable and long term. And so the business has shifted completely from having 15 or 20 products to now having 300 or 400 products.
Wow.
And a lot of those are blades, so that kind of throws the number off because we've got so many different sizes of blades. But it's been a crazy journey with growth and learning. And, we talked a little bit about but the stuff behind the scenes that people don't know. You can get a website, right? And you can take orders, but You saw 3 people and they're taking, we have 3 people doing nothing but customer service.
Yeah, the girls, yeah.
And Colton over there doing phone calls and, everything from questions on do products work and ordering and warranty and my product didn't show up and then tracking and shipping and I'm missing hardware and I went to the wrong house. And there's so much more on the back end that people don't see. You can get a website and sell product, but
right.
And then of course getting product in, and warehousing it, boxing it, printing labels, getting it to the clients, getting it to the customers on time, and so there's just a lot of things behind the scenes, and we've got an amazing team, and sometimes I just try to stay out of the way.
Wow, that's awesome. Let me ask you this. Let's go to Perficut first, if that's cool with you.
Yeah.
Because when I heard it first was at Launchpreneur Academy Live, which is a live event that we do every November. So many of you guys have been to that. We super appreciate you guys supporting it, checking it out, coming to the event. It's a one-day conference, all about people like, you're going to a lawn care conference? I'm like, bro, it's like 10% lawn care, 90% success, business, overcoming, hearing people come from nothing to something. Nobody hits the stage that's making less than $1 million gross in revenue with their company. It's really, really, it's a great time. And you were one of the speakers last year. And I don't think you had told me before, not that it's like, my business or whatever, but it was really cool because on stage you had said you had just sold like the week or 2 before. Mm-hmm. So for those that don't know you, give them the lay of the land. What was that like?
Excuse me. So, we weren't really looking to sell Perficut, which is, I have a business partner, Matt Bowman, who is still on and is the CEO and the president of Perficut today. And I had stepped away from the day-to-day at Perficut about 3 years ago when Ballard started ramping up. I just said, hey, guys, we got a great team. I'm going to go focus on Ballard. I trust you guys. I'm going to step away from the day-to-day. So we weren't looking to sell the company, but we had met with a company several times, and we loved their culture. We loved everything that they stood for. And we just, after numerous conversations, Matt and I had some tough conversations, and we just felt like the partnership made sense. It gave our employees opportunity, growth. It took a lot of risk off the table. We've been doing this. I started this company with a push mower and a moped.
Yeah.
And we were at 3 branches with just shy of 175. We were at 200 employees at one point. We were at about 175 through COVID, just because we got a little leaner and it's tough to find help. So we felt like it was a strategic partnership for us to continue to grow the company and also just give our employees opportunity for growth through the Heartland platform. And they've been a great partner. They've done everything they said they've done. And what we really liked about them is they're focused on their people, and nothing changes. So Perficut today, they don't paint the trucks a different color. They don't change the name. It looks exactly like it did, only we can offer our people just a little bit, because of the scale, we can offer them more opportunity, more growth. Maybe they're not happy in Des Moines and they want to move to Kansas City. There's a platform there that they can go to another Heartland company, and there's some upward mobility for them. So it's been a great partnership. They've done everything they said they would do. They've got some great buying power, some great partnership through national contracts, and so I can tell you though, it was the toughest decision. I mean, and Matt was too. I was back and forth every day. I mean, I would literally sit on my patio and be like, it's like selling your baby, right? I mean, it's everything it's the only thing I've ever done. I've never worked for anybody else.
Wow. 30 years, right?
Yeah. And so it was a tough decision, but it made sense, and we're excited about it. We're excited about the future. We're looking at some other acquisitions to help Perficut grow through the Heartland platform, but they would be under the Perficut name and umbrella. So, it's been good. It's you and I went to one of our facilities earlier, and it's weird to me still when I see a blue truck. That's not my truck.
Yeah. Well, somebody was driving down the road, and you wave to him. You're like, I have no clue who that is.
Yeah, it's weird, and I know a lot of the guys, but when you get to the size that we are, you kind of lose touch with that, and it gets bigger than one person. And even today, when I go to like our safety meeting, there'll be 150 people there, and we've got this safety director, and it's just this amazing meeting. I look around, and I'm just humbled, proud. I look around and think to myself, how the heck did we get here?
Yeah.
What a great team, and everybody's knuckle bumping and high fiving, and we just try to build a great culture, we just try to love our people to death and take good care of them.
Summer showers, dust that chokes, acres that just won't end. Exmark knows the job of a landscape professional isn't an easy one. That's why we've crafted a legendary line of mowers built to overcome any obstacle. So you're ready to close the deal and finish the job, like you always do. Cut from the same red metal as your Exmark mower, you aren't just good at this. You were built for this.
Let me ask you this, because a lot of guys listening in, running a small business, owner operator, couple guys, maybe they got 2, 4, 5 crews, and they're doing 0 to $1 million. That's kind of like you are kind of target audience is. And for all you guys listening, I run a couple $100,000 a year business. I'm not trying to pretend like I know what Kory knows or do what Kory's done or anything like that. I love getting people on the show like a Kory Ballard, like a Troy Clogger, and some of the other guys that have 2, 4, 5, $10 million companies. A lot of you guys that are listening in, we get you on as guests to fill in the gaps. So one thing I've heard some people say, Kory, is the entrepreneurship cycle, like a little flow chart, little like circle chart. It's not complete until you start a company, grow the company, and then sell the company. So you're not really a true entrepreneur, is what some folks will say, until you've sold a company. So you've started, you've grown, you've sold. What's some thought process on? And by the way, you can start a $150,000 a year lawn care company, sell for $50,000. I guess there's one level of that, but you have a I don't know if you want to talk revenue numbers, but 8 figures, 8 digits. We're talking a big company. This isn't a $400,000, 3 crews and 6 guys, and half of it could implode the next day if it sells. You have staff, you have CFOs, COOs, presidents, boards. You have a legit, real large company. What the heck is that whole experience like? I mean, that's crazy. What was it like selling off something at that magnitude? And what's some encouraging thoughts to somebody who's trying to go full circle? They're trying to run the whole gamut. Because some guys do want to build the next Perficut.
Right. No, it's, for me, it was just surrounding myself with people that are smarter than me. And I think a lot of business owners, they want to wear all the hats. Sure. They're intimidated by hiring people that might be smarter than them. One of the things I think I'm best at is I just continue to put people around me that are better than me. Sure. And it doesn't bother me at all. And I try to hire people that are smarter than me. I try to hire people that can focus on what they're really good at. And sometimes you just got to get out of the way. Now you got to get the right people in place. You got to have systems in place. You got to have accountability. But when I got out of the way, we grew, because I'm bouncing off the walls. If you guys ever see me on videos, I'm high energy. I'm bouncing off the walls. I got 75 ideas all the time, and 10 of them might be good. Yeah. Maybe at best. And sure. And so, for us, it was, because we couldn't have sold Perficut 5 years ago. We just didn't have the systems in place. And so it was really important for us to stop and go, we're a $20 million plus company. How do we, and we weren't thinking about selling, but how do we get this thing in a situation that we could sell it someday? Because we had no intention of selling it. Okay. But I think it goes back to running it like a true business. Do you have the people in place? Are your books clean? Are you ramrodding your Corvette and your boat through your business and your camper? I had a CFO maybe 7, 8 years ago, and she came in and she just said, guys, listen, we're cleaning this up. Yeah. We're not running personal expenses through here anymore. And that was one of the best things that I ever did is she said, hey, quit. We don't need to put a grill on your personal credit card. If you want a grill, buy one. How about you just pay yourself more? I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Sure. You could probably do that. Sure. So, if you're thinking about selling your business or even not thinking about selling your business, you've got to run it like a business. And some people run it like a personal checking account. Right. And that's just not, you can do that, but knowing that, we've looked at buying other businesses and they give us their numbers, right? We look at their P&L and they're like, well, I know it shows I didn't make very much money, but I would have made money, but I had 2 vacations on there. My Corvette's in there. And then I also have my rental properties in there. My wife's Escalade. And Oh, and by the way, I'm paying my wife $50,000 a year, but she doesn't work here, but it just helps me get some supplemental income. Right. Like, that's not a company we can, the books are so screwed up. You can't sell that company. Yeah. So run it like a business, clean the books up. If you need more money, I always tell people, set yourself up on a salary, whatever that number is. Yep. And guys are saying, well, I don't pay myself, but if there's money left over, I take it. Right. Horrible way to do it. It is a horrible way to do it. Just pay yourself whatever that number is. Whatever your company can afford, you should pay yourself like an employee. Now, you can take distributions if you're profitable, certainly. So one of the best things we did, and I don't know if this answers your question at all, but just we had to build it like a business and run it like a big business so that when they came to us, and they said, hey, we're going to find some skeletons in the closet. And I said, no, you're actually not. That's awesome. Everything is legit. There's nothing you're going to find that's out of whack. We have everything documented, and so we did a lot of work on employee forms, handbooks, all the things that you have to do. So when somebody buys your company, it's a turnkey company.
Yeah. What was that? Was there like a catalyst, an OS moment? Was it, hey, we got audited? Was there a come to Jesus moment? Was there a, hey, I'm making more aches and pains, groaning noises as I get out of the shower and I'm getting old and maybe I need an exit plan? Like, was there any catalyst like that? Or just hey, like somebody kind of pulled you aside and said, you just had this aha moment, dude, we don't have an updated manual on something, right? And you're like, dude, what are we really doing here? I don't know. Was anything like that really?
Certainly, we've had many things over the years where we've got into lines of businesses we weren't good at. We had a large Hispanic workforce at one point, and their paperwork, we got audited, and some of their paperwork didn't check out. We didn't do anything illegal.
Sure.
But we lost about 35 guys, and we said we can't run a business that's sustainable long term when we have all this vulnerability. When we got to run it legit. Like we're too big to have risk, and so we had to start really making sure. We drug test, we lift test, the way we do employee orientation, the type of employees that we're looking for. We have our core values on the wall. What are we looking for in people, and what type of clients do we really want?
Wow.
Everybody says know your numbers, right? Which is kind of a cliche, but that's a fact. And so we had to start looking at what does our business model look like long term? What's our marketing advantage? And so we just really focused on our business. And when I quit worrying about everybody else, all the other competition, we got so much better. I don't know about you guys listening or you, Brian, but I used to worry about all these other companies. Oh, so-and-so bought a new truck and they got this account. They got this account and they lowballed this account. And then we just said, let's just do what we do and let's just do it really, really well.
Sure.
Let's quit worrying about everybody else. What are we good at?
Yeah, I mean, as somebody who puts out a lot of content on social media, shocker, I get put under the microscope, probably as much, if not more than anybody, right? Like, and a lot of other people that have larger social media followings too. And I get judged all the time. Why don't I have more trucks? Or why don't I have more crews? Or why don't I have this? Or why don't I have that? And I'm like, bro, you're not living my life. I'm living my life building the company that I want to build. I'm happy where I'm at. I always say, like, one thing that never shows up on a P&L is happiness.
Right.
Right. And if we put that on a measuring thing right now, I'd say like I'm in like the 80, 90th percentile of very happy with how my business is in my life. I want to grow. I want to grow the top number. I want to grow the bottom number. I think you have a great line. What is it? Top line is sanity. Bottom line is vanity.
Yeah. Top line. It's.
Or did I get it backwards?
Yeah. Top line vanity. Bottom line sanity. And that actually, I believe, came from another guy that I can't think of his name right now, who runs a great company. That Matt. We met, I think, maybe at a snow conference, and it made sense because I was so focused on
revenue.
Yeah. I wanted to. Like, I remember somebody said to me at one point, "Would you rather do 10 million at 20% margin?" or 20 million at 10% margin. You're going to make the same money, Kory. You're netting the same money. And I said 20 million. He's like, why? And I'm like, because we're going to look cool, right?
Yeah.
But you're going to have
You'll be in magazines.
You're going to have twice the headaches. You're going to have way more exposure, way more risk. You're probably going to get sued a couple times a year.
Yeah.
And I was so focused on, I just wanted to be big.
Yeah. Top 100, top 50.
I just wanted to be big. Yeah. And I think a lot of guys want that, and they want it for the wrong reasons. And to your point exactly, is find out where you want to be and where you can be happy.
Yeah.
And you and I talked before we were on air just about trying to find this work-life balance. You've got a new baby at home.
Yeah. Yep.
I've got a 9 and 7-year-old at home that need their dad, and I'm over here trying to work 80 hours a week, and it's just at what cost?
Right.
And so each person's got to find out what works for their business. I know guys that run. My buddy Leroy Maines, who does the Green Grind with me.
Yeah, love Leroy. Great guy.
Great dude. He's downsized his company a little bit, but he's focused on what he's really good at. He just told me his profit margin for March and what he thinks he's going to be for April. And I'm like, dude, you're knocking it out of the park. And he's like, dude, I'm so much happier.
Isn't that awesome?
I got 5 less guys. We're just doing what we're really good at. We raised our prices. We're booked up on work. Like, man. Like, what was I doing? Yeah.
I last August, September, October, I did a Friday show. We did this little series called Friday Takeovers. You did one. I really appreciate you. Well, I had my baby Emmy, so I was like, hey, I need to pawn some work off. I'm just like you guys. There's only so many times time in the day, so much hours in the day. I got a bunch of spinning plates. I'm like, okay, I got to keep this plate, the podcast spinning. Who wants to do a Friday takeover? So I reached out to all my podcast buddies, and you did one, and I had a lot of great feedback from your show. I had a lot of guys talking about how they enjoyed your story of like getting Perficut, lean and mean, and debt free before you sold it, like people are thinking, oh, a $20 million company, you must just have $5 million liquid cash in the reserves or whatever. Like, or you only have $100,000 cash in the reserves. Who knows? I'm sure the story's been both. I mean, I think one time you told a story of how you had to inject cash into the company.
Yeah.
07, 08, 09 or something.
It was rough. Yeah. And we were at about 10 million in revenue and had no cash.
Is that wild?
And we weren't profitable, and we were doing work for people, and everybody went belly up. And here we have this great company, great employees, a great reputation, great clients.
Yeah.
No cash.
Is that crazy?
And we were sitting in, and I say this just because I've said it a lot. We were sitting in a bankruptcy attorney's office.
Wow.
And I mean, you want to talk about being humbled. I
Sure.
mean, and we left there and just said, boys, we got to get lean, mean, and it only took us about 18 months to get out of that hole.
Is that right?
But
Wow.
we had to make some major changes, and we weren't running our business very well, because when you're making money, it's easy. We had cell phones that we were paying for that people didn't work for us. We had stuff insured we didn't even own anymore. We were just sloppy.
Yeah.
Because we're doing 10 million. We don't have to pay attention.
Well, and that's the relatability. I had guys reaching out. They're like, hey, I did like $700,000, but like I'm getting fat because like we're making some money. That's like the trap a lot. I've seen with some guys, like they're starting to make some money, then they just start buying stuff because they got the cash flow, and they're not remembering. I don't know the best way to say it. Like they're not remembering like that hungry resourcefulness when they had no money. Like you're like, I'm going to go buy a skid steer when a tractor would do, or I'm going to go buy another mower when their old clunker. Okay, it's not the newest. It's 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. Has $2,500 on it. Burn a little bit of oil. But you know what? It works. It makes tall grass short. But like I'm going to go get a new X-Mark for $16,000. And that's another trap out there, I remember another story you were sharing was the fraudulent wire transfer.
Oh yeah, that was brutal.
That was crazy. I had guys saying like, they're texting me like, man, I thought I had problems. Tell the story really quick.
Yeah, luckily we recovered it only because our insurance guy had convinced us to buy some fraud protection. But and they're getting crafty. Actually, it just happened with Ballard just recently too, where people were trying to get into our account. They sent our bank. Said, hey, we need to get on the account. And it looked so legit. It came from Lindsay, my wife, and it was her email. But
whoa.
Yeah, so we were paying off equipment right before we sold the company. And somewhere in the middle, these emails were getting captured or caught. Or
this was with Perficut.
Yeah, with Perficut.
Yep,
and so we had wired about $200,000 or $215,000 to, I don't know, India. Russia.
Yeah.
We were helping Putin get ready for the war. And so it was crazy, and the emails looked super legit, and we thought we'd sent the money to the right people. And
what level of pasty white were you or your CFO or who?
I was at a wedding.
I'd be transparent, bro. Like
I was going to my buddy's wedding, and our CFO called us and it's like, we've got some problems.
Wow.
And for some reason anymore, I don't get that shocked. I stayed pretty calm. I mean, it was still a lot of money, but it wasn't the end of the world. But it was like, okay, can we get it back? He said, no, the money's gone.
Wow.
And then he said, I think we have insurance to cover this, and so.
What do you just call up State Farm? Hey.
I've said that to many guys. If you're running a business, it's not that expensive to get this fraud protection,
sure.
Cyber insurance, and if you get cyber. So check with your insurance guy. That's a totally different topic. But luckily we recovered all that money, but it was couple $100,000 just cash gone.
Wow.
And right before we were closing on the business, so
black eye.
It was not good.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. Well, I mean, and that's why we did this podcast, the Friday Takeovers, because all the different guys had different stories. Julia Tomei, he's over in Canada. He talked about he had a walker mower that got like the ass end got stuck over a retaining wall, so it's like in the neighbor's lawn. It's 8 feet up for the next neighbor, and just went through this whole fence. So I'm like hearing all these like yuck stories, and then you come in, and there's always a bigger fish, and you're like, yeah, like. Getting your mower stuck is one thing, and then you're like, yeah, we had like $220,000 of like wire fraud. And I remember like listening to the episode a couple weeks later. I think I was at home, playing with Emmy or something, and I was like, dude, like I thought I had problems, and then I'm like, yeah, like I had like my credit card stolen at the pump for $80, and somebody used my PIN or something, and it's wild to have $215,000 MIA, but
stolen. And I've had I had a buddy had almost 700,000 stolen, and they did not recover it. So these guys are getting crafty. So I do all money wires in person now for Ballard. So we wire a lot of money for Ballard, and I do it in person, and it's kind of a pain in the ass. I got to go to the bank.
Yeah.
I don't care. I just do them in person. And they said, hey, we're going to send you this quick form. You guys don't have to come to the bank anymore. I said, nope, not interested.
Wow.
I'll drive the 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It's
worth it.
I'm super skeptical of any wiring.
Heck yeah. So don't try to Venmo them, you know what I'm saying?
No, I'm super skeptical of anything. And again, like I said, Ballard, it just happened to Ballard. And a year ago, Lindsay and I were online. We were on PayPal, and because we take a lot of Ballard orders from PayPal, and somebody was moving. You could see the little thing on the screen moving around, and we weren't touching the screen.
No way.
So somebody was in our account, and then I got a notification that said, you just changed your password. And I said, Lindsay, did you change the password? She goes, I didn't change the password.
No way.
And you could see the mouse moving on the screen, and we weren't touching the screen.
Who do you do? What do you do? If you don't mind me asking,
we just instantly changed the password again, and then so we now have this double verification system on all of our computers. So when you log in, it shoots you a password on your phone. So you have to have the password and the phone.
Yeah.
And so that was recommended by our bank and our insurance company. So it's just these guys are getting freaking crafty.
That's crazy.
They're way smarter than you and I combined.
I mean, that's not a lot of effort for me. I don't know about you.
I'm no tech guy.
I have no idea. I can barely hit start. Paul Jameson always texts me when I go on these tours. I go, hey man, any tips or suggestions? He's like, just make sure the red button is on.
Yeah.
You've seen me look down 3 times.
We've done podcasts and not recorded them,
so you can relate.
Yeah.
Well, you get the Green Grind podcast.
Yeah.
Quick plug for them, and you and Leroy co-host that.
Yeah, it's a good podcast. We enjoy it. We try to get new guests on, and we try to bring on. We had an insurance gal on a couple weeks ago. It didn't get as many listens, which is crazy because I know you guys like to hear about lawn care guys. And I'm like, this is the episode that you guys should be listening to. She talked work comp and risk, and when you're using subcontractors and snow removal. It had the least listens of any of our podcasts, and I'm like, this is the episode that you guys should be listening to. But I understand that if I'm on a mower, right?
Yeah.
I want to listen to guys talking about their lawn care business, landscape business, how they're winning, how they're losing, what they did wrong. And I'm like,
but the business stuff.
Yeah, stop. Take the 1 hour and just listen to this gal. She had tons of great tips on.
Do you remember the episode or what?
It was probably, I don't know the number, but it was probably 3 or 4 episodes back. But if you look at it, it's the only one we've done on insurance lately. And, But we try to bring guests on to talk about, financial planning and insurance and whether you should lease or buy. And some guys that just motivational stuff. We had a guy on that, did like 9 tours and just talked about teams and being involved with leadership. And so we try to, for us, we just try to make our podcast super real and not just we don't want to just tell the winning stories. We want to talk about guys. And we've had a lot of guys on, and you've had some of the same guys on that are downsizing their companies for reasons of maybe to save their marriage.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of us, I know a lot of guys, man, that they're working all day. They get home, they don't pay attention to the kids. Now they got to do billing, accounts payable, got to get product ordered. They're doing route sheets for the next day. And man, that just takes a toll. And so try to find that life-work balance. And I'm really good at telling you how to do it.
Yeah.
I'm shitty at doing it in person.
Sure. We were talking about that in the truck on the way here from the airport. And I was like, it's funny you say that because Liz and I, we haven't I don't know the best way to articulate, but we went from 6th gear to 5th gear, and I've spent way more time. I prioritize my family like you wouldn't believe the last 6, 7, 8 months ever since Emmy was born, and I don't regret a single bit of it. Right. I've posted the last YouTube videos. We're always here on the podcast Monday, Wednesday, Friday. YouTube's for my skill set, harder beast, with editing and creating content. YouTube's a lot of work, but the podcast it's a little bit more simple for me. We got a great producer, Mr. Producer, you guys know, and that's why I say shout out to him. If you guys enjoy the podcast, dropping 3 days a week, he's the lifeline, not me. If it wasn't for him, I hit start, stop, get it to him, and then he produces it. So shout out to you, Mr. Marty, Mr. Producer. But the YouTube stuff, I've scaled back, and people are like, well, your views are going to drop and your subs are going to drop. I'm like, dude, I don't care. My wife is number 1, my baby's number 2, and they're both number 1. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But at the end of the day, I'm so much more happy as a business owner. I don't care if you pay me an extra $100,000 with whatever I'm making that year. It's not worth it to like you said, wind up in a divorce attorney's office 12, 18 months later. And I don't know if you guys can relate to that kind of stuff, but other people are like, well, you can get 4 trucks and 4 crews and 4 rigs. And I'm like, dude, I know what I can do. I know I'm at capacity and I'm sure I can make more money, but something's got to give. And I'm not sacrificing my wife or my baby on the altar of YouTube or lawn care, making a $500,000, $1 million, $5 million company. I'm just not.
I agree 100%. And I say this all the time. Everybody thinks that if I just made more money, I'd be happier. And I'm telling you guys, it's not the case.
You were talking about that in the truck.
Yeah, I've been through a lot of stages, and I've screwed up a lot of relationships. And it's just, man, it's this weird balance. But I talk to guys all the time like, man, if I had your money, I wouldn't have any problems. I'm like, oh, dude, you don't even know. Or if I could just get to 1 million, my life would be better. And we had Tom Fitzpatrick on a couple on the Green Grind maybe a year ago, and Tom has become a good friend, and I helped him with his business. And he talked a lot about, like, he just had this goal that when he got to 1 million, he made it, right?
Right.
And he got to 1 million and he woke up and he couldn't get out of bed because he didn't make it, right? And then he said, if I could just get to 2 million, that's the goal. And I'm going to buy myself a Mustang GT. And he got the Mustang GT. And he said, I was not happy. He goes, I found out that all these things these goals and these numbers I put in my head that would make me happy.
Yeah.
And then he said, you know what? Then I refocused on getting my business where it needed to be, spending time with my wife and kids. And now I'm happy. And he goes, what turned out to happen is now my business is better than ever.
Right.
So it's just this kind of weird dynamic
Balancing
that we
act.
all have to figure out, this
Yep.
life-work balance. But I think if you just chase the dollar, one of the things that Matt Bowman, my business partner, said to me way, way back is like, man, if we just do the right things, the money will follow.
Sure.
And I think if you're just doing it for money, I just think you're not going to be happy.
Yeah.
And you're going to miss out on all those things. And if you have children, my oldest daughter's graduating from high school this year, and I'm like, I don't even know what happened.
Wow.
I don't even know where the years went.
Yeah.
They fly by because dad's working 80 hours a week and I'm on my phone at dinner, right?
Right.
You and I talked about that. Like, just put your phone down, dude.
Yeah.
Summer showers, dust that chokes, acres that just won't end. Exmark knows the job of a landscape professional isn't an easy one. That's why we've crafted a legendary line of mowers built to overcome any obstacle. So you're ready to close the deal and finish the job, like you always do. Cut from the same red metal as your Exmark mower, you aren't just good at this. You were built for this.
I somehow just had a little self-awareness. Plus, Liz probably yelling at me behind the scenes, you know.
Yeah.
That's just real talk. She's like, "Well, you're here, but you're on Instagram, or you're here, but you're not." Did you see? And she's like, "Hey, did you see what Emmy just did?" And I'm like, "No." I'm like, "Oh, I'm answering a DM or answering an email or trying to make a post." And she's like, "Dude, like, come on," you know what I mean? And dude, that's like real talk. Like I'm not infallible. Like I'm a real person out there. There's times when I'm doing stuff like that and or working late, or hey, I can do an extra mulch job on Saturday, and make an extra $800. And she's like, "Is that really going to change anything?" And I'm like, "No, but I got to work. Like I can't
get done.
I can't take Saturdays off. Are you kidding me? Like I'm a loser. Everybody else is out there on Saturday, dude. That is like a horrible rat race. Now, if you're broke as a joke, you need to work Saturday. You need to work Sunday, in my opinion, but. You get your life going, you start making some decent money, pay off your bills, and start having like a decent life established. I don't know, man. This is me personally. I'm not telling you guys what to do. By the way, if you're 21 and it's just you and you're single and you want a Duramax diesel and go make $80,000-$90,000, rock and roll, go do that. I'm telling you, there's something to be said about a nice work-life balance, though.
And that being said, you have to put a crazy amount of work in, and I've had that conversation with Lindsay. And again, it was really hard on our marriage. We were at a pretty low point this winter, and I just said, sometimes you just gotta freaking grind, but you gotta know when you put the work in. Then you gotta say, okay, now we gotta get some help. Like this is not sustainable. I walk downstairs and she's processing orders at 11 o'clock on a Sunday night, and she just got a tear running down her face, and she just said, like this, I'm miserable, and here's my wife, she's miserable,
right?
And I'm like, this is not going to work.
Right.
And so whatever that looks like for your business, you just got to try to, but that being said, it's easy. You got to get work done too, right? You got to make money.
Got to make money.
When we started Perficut, we worked 7 days a week for years.
Yeah.
And I always said, I'm not smarter than anybody. I'll just outwork you.
Yeah.
But you can only do that for so long.
Yeah.
But it cost me relationships, friendships, and we just, but you got to do the work. But at some point, you've got to figure out what that balance looks like. And especially when you get a wife and children involved, or if you're a woman and your husband, whatever that looks like for your business. But
that's real talk, man.
It's just, it's tough, and you got to figure that out. Everybody's got to figure that out for themselves. And
yeah. Well, like you said, you don't want to get to the finish line and it's just you celebrating. you look around and your wife left you, your kids hate you, they're just bitter and resentful. Like that's not true winning or true success. That's the kind of stuff we talk about at Entrepreneur Academy on, and it's not a plug to plug the event, but like for real, people are like, what am I going to learn about lawn care? I'm like, no, you can learn about lawn care on YouTube, but come to the conference and hear people have these struggle victory stories or success. And hey, I was doing this and my marriage stunk. And that's the real stuff. If you've been, you've been, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to make a pitch for it, but that's the real talk that it's hard to communicate that on a podcast or on a YouTube video. You have to feel, you have to see, you have to get emotionally involved. And when you're at a conference, it's life-changing, So anyway, that being said, you came to the last two as a speaker. We're rotating a bunch of speakers this year to really freshen things up. Not that anybody was doing a bad job the last few years or anything. Amazing jobs. I just want to get some other folks in. But you're still coming. I actually think we have you as a presenting sponsor as Ballard, which is really, really great. A little plug for that already. We super appreciate that support. Fast forward, though, I know we're just talking about like balancing, like don't get divorced along the way of being successful.
Right.
but at the same point, you guys are doing a really, really good job. The last 2 years here with Ballard Products, I've only known you for about 3 years now, maybe. And this business is booming. I mean, so you're I don't know how you explain what you do right now with Perficut, but you can explain that better. So like you're involved but not involved. But you've really taken this company to the next level. Now you got a great team of, like you said, 11 people working here. So explain maybe like the transition out of Perficut and then what you guys got going on with Ballard. And we'll probably land the plane here in about 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, and one of the things you wanted to talk about was partnerships. Maybe we can get there, maybe we can't.
Yeah,
I'm still involved with Perficut. I'm on the strategy team down there, so kind of the big vision there on where we're going, what we should be doing. And again, I've got great people down there. And with Ballard, where I'm best is finding new products, figuring out what I think will help our industry. Whether I'm creating the product or whether I get this kind of like a Shark Tank thing.
Yeah.
I probably get 3 products a week, sometimes 2 products a week where guys come to me and say, hey man, I built this product. I use it every day in my business. What do you think? And so a lot of those guys are sending me products. So guys, if you've got products out there that you're using, I'm not trying to steal your products. I don't steal anybody's stuff. Sometimes we buy their products. Sometimes we give them royalties.
Sure.
But guys create these great products and they don't know what to do with them. And I do, so we have manufacturers here in the US, Mexico, China. Some guys don't like that, but hey, that's just how business works. Unfortunately, if I could make everything in the US, I'd do it all day long.
Right.
But unfortunately, it's not. It's just manufacturing is so hard to get done here and it's not even cost effective. And but so I'm just focused on new products. And, my deal is I won't sell anything I wouldn't use.
Right.
So that's how we test it. Like if I get a product and I get pitched everything from beef jerky to, tons of stuff. And like, man, you could sell more beef jerky than anyone. I'm like, beef jerky? That's not my deal. I like beef jerky, but that's not my deal.
Sure.
Like guys need protein when they're mowing. I'm like, we're not a beef jerky, but
snacks and nuts. There you go.
So I'm just always looking for products that make things easier for guys and stuff I think will make their jobs better and cool products. We're working on some really neat stuff. I've got tons of products sitting on my office floor right now. And, our challenge right now is we're just out of room. So we're working on a new facility, about a 25 or 26,000 square foot warehouse that we're getting ready to build. And
so you went from one bay to 4 years later, looking at speccing out a multi-million-dollar facility.
Yeah. So we're excited about that because, we've got to build, I want to build a business that's sustainable. Whether it's for my kids, whether we sell it someday, I don't know. We've got a great team of people that we just try to payroll well, empower them to do great things.
I know all the people here. They're great.
Yeah, and I just try to stay out of the way. I'm good at what I'm good at, and I say that to people all the time. Like, man, sometimes I just think there's so many business owners that their ego and pride get in the way. I just try to surround myself with people that are just really, really good, and we just try to take great care of them and let them. Sometimes you got to let them make mistakes too. Just get out of the way and let them run. And, if you're going to micromanage, you're going to just have a job and not a business. I just try to get out of the way.
Wow.
And that's for me, and again, if you want good people, you got to pay them well. But that you also at the same time, people go, I can't pay them well. I don't have enough money. Well, you don't have enough money because you don't have a good system.
Right.
And so it's just this kind of double-edged sword. You got to have both, right?
I just think it's fascinating. Like as a guy who does a lot, not playing the compare game, but playing the compare game, I'm like, dude, you got $2 million companies, multi-million-dollar. It's just other dudes out there like the bravado, and you still like. We're all competitive dudes, listening in, and I'm just like, damn, I need to get on the shtick. You know what I mean? Like, so it's reassuring and encouraging, at least to me. I don't know if you guys listening in, but like if somebody can build a company from a couple $100,000 or a couple million to multi-million in a handful of years. And I'm looking at this place and you're like, don't judge me right now. You know what I'm saying? Because like there's stuff everywhere, but I'm like, dude, this isn't, I mean, they're good problems. They're growing pains.
Yeah. But you got to put the work in, and I'm one of those guys that, I take action. I get up at 4:00 every morning,
right.
And I work. People are like, I don't have time to work out. I'm like, you have time to do anything you want to do if it's important to you.
Yeah.
So you have to choose what path you want to make. And I when I was doing some consulting, I talk to guys all the time, like, I don't like to get to the office till 8. And I'm like, 8, man.
World's done, man.
You got to be there. You got to meet your guys in the morning. You got to knuckle bump. You got to be there. And, I'm a grinder. I just try to outwork people. That being said, I'm trying to really step back a little bit because I got to put my family first. And I wasn't doing that for a while because I have this, we talked about it. I just have this thing where I just want more, bigger. And,
right.
But I also love that we can provide great jobs for people. And I just said on a podcast the other day, a guy came to me down at Perficut and said, man, I just bought my first new house. And this guy's probably a guy that most people wouldn't have hired. He had done some time for maybe some drug-related charges. Man, he's a freaking stud. I love him.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, I just got out of my apartment. We just bought our first new house. He gave me a hug, and I'm like, that's where it's at.
Yeah.
Like that's the stuff I love. Kaz just bought his, first new house, and
that's awesome.
People, buying new car. I love that we can give people an opportunity to have a career, not a job, a career.
Right. Whether
it's here or at Perficut. And so I feel a lot of responsibility that I have to create a workplace that gives them opportunity.
This is good. I'm just listening, because this is good. And by the way, like anytime I get around you guys or Kory yourself, I'm always self-checking, right? I'm always like so thankful that I get the opportunity to talk and listen and get around so many people. And I'm just like, hey, Fullerton, stop messing this thing up. Or, hey, you can work harder. Or, hey, you can do better. Or, hey, you can be better, right? So I'm just like, when you're talking, I'm just like, dude, this is good stuff. Really quick, and I'm going to ask you about partnerships here for like last 2 minutes, and then I'm going to button this up because I think I got a plane to catch here in a minute. But there was I heard, Kory, you can even help me out with this if you can, but there was like some old like parable or story. I'm trying to think of it. Maybe somebody can send it to me if you guys are into poems, all that. But there was some story of like a king or something that's like, I want all the fruit, and then people brought him all the fruit, and he's like, I want more. So he's like, I wanted all the something else's, and they brought all that too. And then he's like, I want all the silver and all the coins. So like they gave him all the silver and all the coins, and like he wanted all the gold, and then they put all the gold in the room with him, but like he like got stuck in the room or like got so fat that he like died or whatever, and like the king was never satiated, kind of a deal. Do you ever hear that story? You know that one I'm talking about?
I don't know that one, but it makes sense.
It's like one of those things like an old parable of like, you got to learn contentment or satiation, like be satisfied or content. I don't know. I have to check that poem out. If you guys know what I'm talking about, I don't know if I heard that story back in like high school or middle school or something, but that one was what goes in my brain. Like, don't just keep coveting and wanting. Because you're the guy that's kind of done what a lot of us listening in are looking to do. I'm just going to shoot it straight. Like, you built this multi-million-dollar company, very respectable, very impressive, top 100 list, all this other mess. But there's a price to be paid for it.
Right.
There's a price to be paid for it. Really quick, this is just really good stuff for me. I don't know if you guys are enjoying this podcast. I just love hearing people talk real time and in person. Last thing I want to ask was about partnerships, because there's like philosophies out there don't have partners. Other philosophies out there have partners. The only ship that doesn't sail is a partnership, right? And then there's other people that, you build a team, and if one could put 100 flight, two could put 10,000 a flight, right? And that's biblical. What I wanted to just know is like, what's your thought process on partnerships? Maybe any tips for these guys really quick? I know it's a huge, broad answer. It could be a 2-hour podcast on its own and still not even scratch the surface of it. But a lot of the guys, like, here's a personal question. A lot of the young guys that come to me, they're 15, 18, 20, 25, whether they're like high school buddies or college or whatever. They're like, hey man, I got 10 grand cash and I want to start a business with my bro or even my brother. But they're like, I got a good buddy. He's really good with mowers, and he knows how to stripe, and he knows how to landscape, and he's mechanically, competent, so he can fix our stuff. One guy's got cash and hustle. One guy's got a little bit of the know-how and he can fix stuff. And like, hey, this seems like a great idea for a business partnership. What's your thoughts on all that kind of stuff? Because you started from scratch and I haven't went down that road. I'm a no partnership kind of guy. I like partnerships with like brand deals or affiliates but I'm never like telling people what to do with their business or their life because I don't want anybody to do that with me. Marriage is kind of a business partnership.
Absolutely.
You know, so like Liz and I are learning, you know, we've been together for 10 and married for almost 8 here in October. That has been wild. I'm like, I just can't wildcat and do whatever I want to do. Like there's repercussions and responsibilities. And so what's your thoughts on partnerships on this mess?
Yeah, that could be a podcast in itself.
Seriously,
we should do a partnership podcast at some point, but
we'll do a part 2.
Yeah. And so, you know, I get that a lot too. Like, hey man, my buddy and I are really good friends and we drink beer together and we're gonna start a business. And, And so it always seems like a great idea after about 6 beers, right? And and sometimes it works well in the beginning. One guy's got cash, one guy's got skill, or maybe they both have skill and they think if they team up, it works really well. And sometimes it does. But what I've seen happen a lot of times is as that business grows, it's very tough, you know. So you've got one guy that maybe is financially responsible. Maybe one guy likes to buy all new stuff. So the money starts to become an issue. And then, you know, maybe one guy has children and gets married and now he doesn't want to work Saturdays and Sundays. The other guy's working Saturday and Sunday. Now you get resentment going on. You know, so in my business, you know, I was really, really fortunate to have a great business partner. And I said this before we were on air. People, you say, man, you and Matt are so different. And I said, well, that's why it works, because we don't need 2 of me.
Sure.
And so he was an incredible sales guy. I was really good with the equipment and the trucks. And I said, you just sell. I'll get us all the gear, and I know how to run the crews.
Sure.
And he's certainly good at that stuff too, as he learned over the years. But it ends up being, it seems like most of them don't work, because as life changes, the business changes, the demands change. And so one of the things Matt and I did, you know, years ago was we had to set some boundaries, like, because people would come to him. If they didn't like the answer he gave them, they'd come to me and I'd give them a different answer. And he'd be like, hey dude, I told him we weren't doing that. And you told him we were. And so there was this confusion, especially as the company grew. So you got to be really selective, especially when there's family. I've seen a lot of families ruined over business deals. And I've seen a lot of friendships ruined over money. And so, you know, setting roles, what are you going to bring to the table? What are your roles? What are your responsibilities? What's your work schedule going to be? You know, because one guy thinks he's working harder than the next guy. This guy wants to take off at 3 because he's got to coach Little League.
Right.
His buddy's still mowing till dark, and then he's pissed off. And so, you know, it always seems like a really good idea. I just don't see many of them work out very well long term. And one guy ends up buying the other guy out, or they have to shut the business down. So I just, you know, without getting too deep, I just caution you guys to really look at the partnership and what do you want out of it. You know, sometimes there's partnerships that work out well when somebody just wants to inject cash. I'm going to run the business. This guy's going to inject cash, but he's going to want a return on his cash too. And so I've had those conversations. Well, you know, he's getting paid X amount of money and he doesn't even work in the company. Well, but he put the money in the first place.
Yeah.
And so he deserves a return on his investment and risk. But that resentment starts to build up because you're working 70 hours a week and the guy over here put in the money. He's not working the business at all.
Right.
But you don't have no business without the money, right? So as those businesses grow, I've just seen a lot of resentment and they're just really tough. Again, and it's like a marriage. You've got to have open communication. You've got to have a lot of honesty. You've got to have some really tough conversations. I find that most business owners don't want to have tough conversations with their employees, with their business partner, sometimes with their spouse.
Yep.
You've got to have those tough conversations and sit down and say, man, you know, I'm still old school, like pen and paper, like where are we going? What obstacles are in our way? What do we got to do to overcome them? And then what's it look like in 12, 18, 24 months? And what do we got to do to get there? And so I just caution guys, just because you're having beers, just because you have a good buddy, maybe he's got a skill set that you don't have, that doesn't mean you're business partners.
Yeah.
And so
just because it's a good idea doesn't mean it's like an idea you should act on either.
Well, and life changes, and that happened with Matt and I too. You know, you get married and you start having kids, and you know, one of us doesn't want to be there, and one guy's on vacation, and now you start getting pissed off because I feel like I'm working more than you, and he feels like he's working more than me, and then that resentment starts to build. You know, and so
do you think that's just totally shooting off the cuff here, but and like you said, like we're all the gurus here. We're learning too. But do you think it's like a culture thing, a societal thing? Like, are people, just to be straight up, more immature today and less vision, what am I trying to say? Like forward thinking, long term thinking today? Like most people are like microwave mentality, right? And it's been an epidemic the last 25 years. That's just my opinion. Everybody wants it tomorrow, and starting a company and getting it to a perfect cut size, it took 25, 30 years.
Right. Well, I think that's with everything. I mean, everybody wants to get rich in a week. They want to get in shape in a month. They want a perfect marriage like everybody wants things now, and I get that all the time. It's like, it must be nice. It's like, well, but 35 years of freaking grinding,
right,
and losing money and injecting money and screwing up and losing clients and losing, I had to fire people that I was in their weddings.
Right. Wow.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that happens, in businesses over the years that, man, I've been through some tough stuff. I'm in a guy's wedding, and next thing I've got to sit him down and let him go.
Wow.
And that happens. And so I also caution guys to be very careful with their relationship with their employees. You're still the boss, and you can have some magic by being close with them. But if you're drinking beer with your guys after work every day, it starts to cross a line that's very tough when you've got to write that guy up or reprimand him for something or have a tough conversation with him. He's like, no, but we're buds. I'm like, no, but you're not performing, and so it's just a weird balance, whether it's a business partner or your employees. And I did it. I screwed that all up. We used to have holiday parties at my house, right? And then, people's wives are asking me for raises, and it just got,
wow.
We muddied the water, so much. And I was having beers with guys after work, and they think we're friends, and we are friends. And then they don't get the promotion, or I can't give them the raise that they think they deserve. And, it just gets kind of screwy. So just, I think in any business too, you got to have very outlined roles and responsibilities, and people work really well when they know what's expected of them.
Yeah.
So, and I think where most business owners fail is they're not clear with communication. They, where's the business going? What opportunities are out there for me? And what do I need to do if I'm an employee? What do I need to do to get to the next level? If you want to make more money, show them a path. Okay, you can make more money if you get your CDL, if you get your pesticide license, if you get backflow certified for irrigation, whatever the skill set is.
Right.
But you have to take more responsibility in your own career, in your own path, if you want to move up in this company. And, as business owners, you also have to be able to provide opportunity for those guys. So I don't know where we're going with that for sure, but partnerships, touchy subject.
Yeah.
You just got to be very selective, because I've seen a lot of really good friendships ruined.
I think if you even just took one or two of the 10 different nuggets maybe that you just dropped there, and just spent a little bit more time on the front end, it would save a lot of pain multiplied on the back end, because that's going to materialize 5, 10, 20 years later. If the relationship or partnership lasts that long, having those tough conversations. Because Caleb Ballman, big fan of the Kid Contractor podcast, and he's always quotes Jordan Peterson, and whatever the line is, like, your life will be whatever based on the number of tough conversations you're willing to have. And I'm thinking to myself, like, man, like, Liz and I's marriage is awesome because we've had so many tough conversations, like knockout, dragouts, fighting. Like, we're both drivers. We're oil and water sometimes, and other times we're like perfect complementing partners. But other times we're yin and yang, right? Other times we're like pure napalm to each other because we're just so go-driven people. And Liz is beautiful, and she's airy and fluffy and nice and kind and, beautiful, and that's what women are. But behind the scenes, she can like kill you, And so, and I'm the same boat. I'm like, hey man, nice to meet you. How you doing, brother? And then I'm like, I'm going to kill this person, like this customer that's making me mad, or what, just like you guys are. I mean, I'm the only one that I feel like maybe like shoots it straight like that. Cause I'm just like, bro, I came from nothing. I'm trying to build, I'm trying to grow just like you guys are. And I'm just like, give me the real conversations. And you know what? The real conversations, sometimes they suck. Sometimes they're tough. Sometimes there's crying. Sometimes there's yelling. Sometimes there's, Liz and I always joke, like our old apartment we moved out of, we have 5 holes in the drywall. We say 1 for every year of marriage, and every year we live there. Mm-hmm. Thank God we don't have any broken or smashed walls or anything like that at the new place, because the joke is like, no, this place costs money. Like, we can't mess this place up.
Right.
The other place is a hellhole. They're going to probably nuke it anyway. But I'm like, dude, this place is nice. Don't mess anything up. These doors probably cost $400, you know? But
and they're solid. So if you punch them, it hurts.
yeah, there's like real concrete and real walls there. Yeah, the other place was like paper mache and like I always joke it was the halfway house, but I digress. No, this is really good. But I remember you did, I don't know if it was the Friday Takeover show or another episode you did. We have quite a few podcasts with Kory. I just, when you're talking, I'm learning. I know when other guys are listening, they're learning. And so we really appreciate some of your caliber being on the show and a regular familiar guest that like doesn't mind shooting it straight and helping the young guys out. But I remember one of the episodes you said like, agree while you're agreeable or something like that. Like work on stuff while you're agreeable, because when things do hit the fan, it is going to go to guns and you're going to be really thankful that you agreed on an exit strategy or who gets what, or how does this work? Or if somebody passes away and there's an insurance payout or whatever. Was that one of your episodes?
I think so. Yeah. Just, always talking about, Matt and I planned from, he wasn't originally a partner and Matt, I let him buy in, but we always had an exit strategy. We had, key man insurance, life insurance. We had, plans in place. If something happens to one of us, what does this look like? And we planned.
What does the spouse get? Not get?
Because, that happens too. Let's just say something happens to one of the partners and now the wife now she's a 50% owner and the guy's like, well, wait a minute, I didn't sign up for that.
Yeah.
And so we, from day one, when he became a partner, we had in writing, exit strategies. If something happens to, Matt was climbing mountains, he climbed Mount Everest, and I ride motorcycles all over, and I race. I do all this crazy stuff that could
took a tumble.
Could kill me any time.
That tumble 6 weeks ago.
Oh, that was a rough one. But,
whatever, yeah.
I like to do things that are a little bit crazy, but we always had things in place, and so you have to plan, and you have to do things, and you have to have those tough conversations and what ifs, and if one partner's not happy, what does that look like, and how do we get out of this business, or if and we also did valuations every 2 years. So we knew what the company was worth so that if something were to happen, we had an exit strategy. If you're not happy, you can buy me out, but we both know the number, right?
Yeah. Is that why you guys were married together so long in the company?
I can tell you, Matt and I probably had,
I'm just kidding.
Matt and I had probably 3 or 4 arguments in 25 years.
Wow.
We always were pretty much on the same page, and we also picked our battles, and we also handled them with respect.
Yeah.
We don't yell. We just sit down and say, hey, man, I'm really frustrated. What do we got to do to work this out? Let's go get coffee tomorrow, and let's just hash this out.
Yeah.
And we'd sit down and work through it, and sometimes you don't agree, but we would agree to disagree.
Sure.
And just say, okay, but moving forward, what are we going to do to make this work? And it's very similar to a marriage, man. You just...
Liz and I have only had 4 fights ever in 8 years too, dude.
Right. But you just have to work through them. And a lot of people just avoid the tough conversations. And man, those build up resentments. And before you know it, you're flying off the handle.
Yeah.
And then everything's wrong, right? When you're pissed about stuff that happened 3 years ago, you're bringing up stuff. Remember that time? And they're like, what do you mean? Why you didn't seem mad then?
Yeah.
And so, again, just having those tough conversations, align yourself with great people.
Yeah.
I talk a lot about having great mentors in your life that, have people around you that are successful, and just ask them questions constantly. Like, what'd you do here? How do you handle this? And for me, that's been a huge piece, just surrounding myself with great people. And I stay super calm, even though I'm bouncing off the walls. I haven't lost my shit in so long.
Yeah.
People are like, you're sitting down, I got to tell you something that's going to blow your mind. And they tell me, and I'm like, that's manageable.
Yeah.
We lost $200,000. Okay, we got insurance.
You're calmer than I am, brother.
I wasn't happy, but do we have insurance? Okay.
Is this because you're like in like your 40s, Kory, or is this because you're like
old Kory? Old Kory. I chased people around the parking lot. I was kind of an animal at times.
Well, you guys are crazy, just getting it all done, building this thing, and
I'm you're super passionate about your business, and if you're like me, I hate losing clients. I hate when our equipment's damaged.
Customers, pick it with you, and they're like, "Hey, you guys aren't doing a great job." You're like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah. Oh, they quit letting me do customer service like 15 years ago. I would.
Liz answers.
I don't take shit really well.
Yeah, Liz answers a lot of my comments because I'm just like, I'm gonna buy an airplane ticket, fly to your place, and crush you.
Yeah.
That's. She's like, you got to respond nicer to people on YouTube. I'm like, but somebody asked a stupid question, and I have 700 videos, or she's like, but they don't know that, or they could be 15. I'm like, Oh, now I feel like an idiot. You know, that
Yeah,
kind
the
of stuff.
haters.
The haters are a whole nother story.
I have completely just disengaged from the haters.
Yeah.
I just don't engage in that anymore. And if you don't like what we do, that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, if we're not the company for you, if you don't like any of the Ballard products, no big deal.
I'm a very vindictive. I don't know if that's the right word, but like I just want to prove somebody wrong, I guess. That's a whole nother evil, of course.
I can be really condescending in my answers as well.
Yeah. I just add another square foot to the house I'm going to build, and that's why it's going to be like 5,000. No, I'm just kidding. But I don't know how that works. But I don't know how we go from your whole story to partnerships to, hey, don't forget to buy your lawnmower blades at Perficut or Ballard, Ballard Inc. But no, this is really, really good. Is there any final thoughts or anything? We always wrap it up with like kind of open mic. Because I mean, I get to come over here once a year. I don't take the time for granted. As soon as I got here, I ate my Chipotle and we've been crushing it. We did a bunch of YouTube videos, a What's New Ballard 2022 video, if you guys want to check that out. Just kind of like a shop tour video that we did kind of off the cuff and just did a little, what you call it, like a site walkthrough.
Yeah.
That was really cool. It really is to see you guys go from one bay and like you said, 50 to 80 SKUs or whatever it was to 4 bays, 400 SKUs or whatever it is, to building plans for a $2.5 to $4 million facility.
Yeah.
That's wild. And I always tell people, like, the dream is real. Like, you can grow, you can crush it. Like, capitalism is still great. You can still build successful companies in a short period of time if you're willing to put in the work.
Got to put the work in, man.
Yeah. And
you just got to put the work in. And there's just a lot of people that, talk, and I just take action. I just try to work hard. And again, I'm excited about what we're doing here. And we certainly appreciate all the support that you guys have given us. It's been a huge boost to our business. The partnership's been great. Yeah. The exposure's been great. We're just going to keep trying to bring great products to people. And not everybody loves what we do, and that's okay.
Yeah.
We're going to keep doing what we're doing and keep trying to provide great customer service, great products, and take care of people. We still screw up all the time. I get emails where we send somebody the wrong product, and we try to take care of them as quick as possible. And that's what we're working on constantly. I appreciate it, man. And in all sincerity, I say it to you guys all the time. Like, thanks for supporting my side hustle with the affiliate links and the Brian's 10 and it ad nauseum, right? And it's beating a dead horse. But that goes into me providing a lifestyle for Liz and, taking care of Emmy. And we want to build our house. And I'm growing the lawn care business. And it's always nice to have a spare tire income, which is our media company and all this mess now. And but I'm grinding every day. I'm trying to provide valuable content to you guys. Give you something to listen to, keep you upbeat, keep you motivated while we're all, one day we're drowning in rain, the next day we're dripping in sweat because it's 94 degrees out. But you know what? We're all in it together, as I always say, is hokey pokey and cliche as it sounds. But I think we've ran the gamut that, I mean that, because we've been doing this for 5-6 years now. The podcast is going on year 3 or whatever now, 350 episodes, and we're doing our best to keep you guys motivated, MODIV. No, I'm just kidding. Motivated. That's a joke for Liz. But any which way. So that's what we got. We got none other than the man, Kory Ballard, here with Perficut and Ballard Products. Anything else you want to leave with? No, man. I just appreciate all the support, guys. And you can reach us on the website. I get a lot of messages. I still handle Facebook. Colton handles Instagram. Cool. We get a lot of questions about business stuff. So, we typically send them to my email, and I still try to help guys with their businesses when I can. I'm trying to be a little bit more selective. I only have so much time in the day. Right. We appreciate the support and appreciate having me on the podcast and you getting over here from Detroit. Dude, the fog, for real, bro. I looked out. You couldn't see a dang thing. I know it was nasty this morning. Is that right? It was nasty. I heard like the girl behind me, kitty corner, was like, yeah, like my sister or whatever that she's visiting. She's like, I can't even see the cars out in the driveway. And I'm thinking, that's not good. And you got this airplane. I don't know anything about airplanes, but it's going 500 miles an hour. And we landed, and I swear to God, at the end, because it was still foggy, you hook around to a taxi to the terminals or whatever. And I swear to God, the homie like almost went off the rail. You were clapping, dude. Yeah. Well, we land. No, it was an early flight, so people are like kind of calm. But like when he hooked it right, I'm like, dude, he did not see that yellow paint line, as he rounds out. Because, dude, the plane, like, I think it went on 2 wheels because he just jackknifed it right. And I'm like, well, I guess there must be a lot of fog out there because you can't even see the yellow line. So, well, I'm glad you made it because it was, we get one chance a year at this really to get over here and show you guys what's going on. And again, we just appreciate the support and the exposure on the products. And again, the Brian's 10 has been huge. And I think there was 6,000 or more codes, last year, and we shipped about 150,000 products out of here last year, which it's exciting for us. And again, we're blessed. I'm extremely grateful and blessed to be doing what we're doing and taking care of our team. And we're going to keep doing what we're doing here and hopefully bringing you guys great stuff. And if you want more content, shameless pitch, jump on the Green Grind as well. We bring a new podcast every Tuesday. And we try to bring you guys great guests there as well.
And then where else can they find you? Instagram and, YouTube or whatnot?
Yeah. So we don't crank on YouTube. We need to do a better job there, but Ballard's on Instagram. We just got a scam account. Have you seen that? Where
the underscore.
Somebody,
at the end. I reported it.
I reported it too, and Instagram doesn't give a shit.
No, they don't care.
So somebody like spoofed our account on the giveaway to try to get people to like give them their information. I don't know.
That's wild. Don't follow that account.
Don't follow that account. But
Ballard Products though.
Ballard Products. If you type it in Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, you'll find us. And if you've got questions, shoot them out to us, and we'll continue to try to help you guys out.
All right. Well, I guess I'll button up right there. One thing I'm going to do, if you guys are listening and you guys are fans of the YouTube channel, I'm going to create a Ballard Products playlist. So if you guys want to, because I've shot videos now on the advanced shoe, the mower blades, the X blades. Kory, what else have I shot on?
Super Jack, Catch Pros.
Yep, Catch Pros, Super Jack. And then I got a bunch of videos I'm going to do this spring as well because I want to do one on the Mower Magic. The new Darwin's grip, Oxlock, the trimmer. What's the trimmer line called?
Phantom.
I'm going to compare that against the Echo Black Diamond, and we'll put it through the ringer. So if you guys want to see like real time, like Kory's selling them, but I'm like, I got to fact check. I got to make sure he's not trying to pull one over you guys, right? I'm the actual fact checker.
That's
right.
Fine.
Yeah, right. People think I'm, Brian's just selling everything nowadays. But that's what I do. I'm going to go put them into the ringer in the field and give you guys real-time feedback, which a lot of those products are already proven. And I want to try the Mower Magic because I got about 3 years of not washing my equipment. So
I'm telling you, the Mower Magic, that's a crazy thing because there's a lot of good cleaner out there, and we've been using that purple stuff for a long time, and it works. People are like, hey, you can use Dawn dish soap. You certainly can. You can use Dawn dish soap. You can use the purple stuff. We used that for years. We wanted to create a product that was better, and we've tested it against it. It is better.
I saw Troy's video. Troy, I don't know if it's his last name, Brownhour, TJ's Lawn Landscape.
Yeah, dude, it's insane.
And his video before and after was his John Deere. It looked freaking showroom floor finish.
We posted a video, and people are saying it's not the same mower. It's a fake video, and I'm like,
That's a good testimony.
Like, it's not a fake video. Why would we ever? A customer sent it to us. It's a picture of his Skag dirty.
Yeah,
It's a picture of his Skag clean, and everyone's like, it's not the same mower. You can tell by the tires. And I'm like, dude, why would we ever fake? We don't need to make fake videos.
That's a great testimony. Well, I always get crap because I never wash my equipment. I get two people all the time commenting, my equipment's too clean, we don't work, or it's too dirty. How come you don't wash your equipment? And I'm like, because I don't have a wash bay. I can't take my rig to the coin wash place by us because it's only for cars. And I'm like, also because I work out of a storage locker and there's no hose bib, to link up.
It's hard.
Yeah. So I'm like, what do you guys want to do? Bring it over to my house? And my apartment complex didn't want people washing their cars in the driveways because I asked the maintenance guy and he goes, they didn't want anybody washing their cars there. So there's no hose spigot, bibs, whatever they call them, at my building. So I'm like, dude, I don't even have access to water anywhere.
Got to get this house and this we got to get this barn built. Bud.
Hey, we get 10,000 Ballard codes, and I don't know. We'll get there one day, man. I'm trying, but all right. Well, that's what I got for you guys on today's show. A little bit longer episode, but you know what? This hopefully will help you guys wrap out the Friday, the mowing day. Hope you guys are just crushing it out there. We're getting our butts kicked with rain, sleet, snow, shine. It's been a little bit of everything, but and then Iowa, you guys have been getting rain, snow.
Oh, it's been nasty.
It's been wild. This has been a tough spring for a lot of us.
It snowed Sunday, and then today it's 70.
Same thing. We got probably whatever you had 2 days before. We got it right after. We had 2 inches of snow Monday, Tuesday, and I'm like, it's April 17th and there's snow.
Crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
So we're out there every day trying to do the same thing. You guys are hustling and crushing it. But that's what I got. Over now. Hey, check out next week Monday. It'll be a continuation of the shop tours that we're doing. We got Jeremy Connect with JJ Grounds up on deck. We got his podcast on Monday, and then we also the correlating YouTube video. We'll also drop on Monday. So if you guys want to check out their operation, 7-figure business, amazing guy, beautiful family, beautiful house. Just let me stay there for a little bit. That's going to be dropping on Monday on the podcast and on YouTube. So, all right, guys, well, that's what I got right now. Let's kick it over to Marty, Mr. Producer, to button this thing up. And I'm going to go catch a plane back to Detroit, and we'll catch up with you guys here on the next one.
Hi, it's Mr. Producer, and these days I wish I was a producer of gas. Maybe I should clarify, gasoline. Thanks to Joeflation, prices at the pump are nuts. Everything costs more. Do you have a plan on how you're going to raise your rates this year? You don't? Well, that's okay, because the LaunchpreneurAcademy.com can help. Brian has a time-tested price adjustment letter that you can add your specific info to and then email or mail to your clients. The letter's only $49, but it's going to make you 7 to 12% more in profit this year. Scared money? Don't make no money. Now you don't have to be scared about how you're going to professionally communicate with your customers so you can remain profitable. The link for the price adjustment letter is in the show description.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.